Hi there, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. It's Friday, which means another crypto interest rates and news update. Today is the 9th of October 2020, and as always, we'll start by taking a quick glance at any new coins and any interest rate changes. And the big changes to make a note of are crypto.com chain. Now, I missed this last week and somebody sent me a comment pointing it out, so thanks very much for that. A big decrease in the price on their flexible terms for CRO, down to 3 and 5% from 12 and 14%, so a massive decrease there. And the other news is a really big increase on Celsius Network for Ethereum, 7.06% paid in kind, up to 9.65 paid in CEL. And we'll talk a little bit more detail about that in a few minutes time. But as always, a link to this Google Sheet will be in the description below, as well as links to each of these stories that we're kind of talking about. So before we go on to the news, let's take a quick glance at the token prices. And as you can see here, crypto.com, another pretty stable flat week. Now today we've had some really nice kind of jumps up in price of Bitcoin and pretty much all the main altcoins over the last sort of 12 hours or so. So it's made some decent gains, up just under 3% today, but over the last 7 days only 1.9% kind of gain. It would have been down a little bit had it not been for this big bump in price today. Celsius Network, on the other hand, continues to perform really quite fantastically, up 27% over the last 7 days, and that's on the back of another couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks of sort of like 30%, 35% gains. So Celsius has been on an absolute tear over the last kind of month, I would say, up to $1.31 a token now. And poor old Nexo down another 8.7% over the last 7 days. I thought maybe we'd seen most of those kind of losses actually kind of like finished for Nexo now, but it's been on a downward kind of trend ever since really the dividend date in August, been losing a lot of value. I think they're going to have to do something kind of Nexo. I think this idea of just buying in order to participate in a dividend kind of twice a year, it's just really not that appealing to people, and they may have to, you know, start looking at maybe some of the things that kind of Celsius and crypto.com, maybe some of the other providers are doing in order to try and build a little bit more value for this token. But it does seem to be just continue to bleed out a little bit, down, as I said, almost another 9% this over the last week, although it is up 4% in the last 24 hours. And then taking a look at these kind of like price changes again. So this is a really kind of big one. So Celsius. So last week we talked about BlockFi, which had just announced increases in their Ethereum rates, and they went up to was it 5.5%, something like that. I forget now exactly, but actually we can jump back here and have a look. So they're 5.25%. BlockFi went up to, and then almost, you know, tit for tat, we've seen a lot of times in the past, suddenly Celsius then announced a massive increase. So 7.06%, you can get that whether paid in kind, whether you're international or in the US. If you go to the Earn tab on the Celsius.network website, if you scroll towards the bottom of the page, you can get these kind of rates. It's nice that they're on the site, and just click whether you're an international user or a United States user. Now, if you're in the US, obviously you can't get paid out in CEL. The one bonus there is that you get 6.2% on Bitcoin, and that's on the first 5 Bitcoin, whereas an international users, you're only getting 4.51% being paid out in kind. You get 6.2, but only on the first Bitcoin, and that's if you're getting paid out in Celsius. But for international users, you do get some of the additional benefits that you can choose to get paid out in CEL. And as we just mentioned, the price of CEL has gone up massively. So if you've been paid out in CEL throughout this year, you would have seen a nice increase in your kind of interest payments in dollar terms just through the increase in CEL, but up to 7.06%. So this is really kind of like industry leading now, far better than BlockFi, far better than Nexo. Ledden don't obviously offer Ethereum. It'd be nice to see that offered. I know when I spoke to Mauricio at Ledden a couple of months ago when I did that interview, it was one of the tokens, one of the kind of coins that they were hoping to kind of add to the kind of platform fairly soon. So it'd be nice to see if they manage to do something before the end of the year on that. But 7.06 on up to 9.65%, really market leading. If you're happy holding your crypto on Celsius, if you like the kind of platform, by far the best place to have it at the moment. And then over to crypto.com, obviously this big drop in price of CRO. Now this is just for the flexible terms. The 1 month and 3 month maintain their decent rates of sort of 14 to 16 or 16 to 18%. but the flexible term down to 3 to 5%. And I can only think this is a response to people maybe taking advantage of the syndicate event. So this is something I used to do. So I used to have my coins in a flexible earn term. So that was earning 12 to 14%, depending on how many CRO you had locked up. So not a big difference to the 1 month or 3 month kind of terms. And then every week I would move them back over to the exchange to participate in the syndicate event. And then as soon as the syndicate event was over, I'd move them back into a flexible earn term. So I don't know if they're just trying to dissuade people from doing that, or whether they're just trying to get people to hold the coins for kind of longer. Obviously the price hasn't really done anything the last kind of month. I don't know if they're trying to just get them out of the kind of like the sort of trading kind of circulation and locked for a slightly longer period in order to try and get a little bit of upwards price pressure on those. But disappointing if you were utilizing the flexible kind of term. If you weren't, then no big loss there. Now something else I want to talk about is this email I got from Leaden. So here it is, and this is a really interesting development. So this is the fact you can now add beneficiaries to your Leaden account. So basically this is in the event of your death, you know, one of the big questions within kind of crypto is what happens to your kind of cryptocurrencies. Now with Leaden, anything that's held on their platform, you can basically add up to 5 different people, and then you can set a specific allocation amount from 0 to 100% for each of those different kind of people. And then on your death, basically that kind of like dollar value or those kind of cryptos, I'm not sure exactly how it will kind of work, will be paid out for those beneficiaries. So I imagine this will be quite useful for lawyers or solicitors, you know, going through wills and trying to work out what is being held and what is being given to different people. So you can actually kind of do that yourself now on the account. Now I haven't gone through and used it, but it looks quite straightforward. You go into the sort of account setting, click on beneficiary, and then you can add the person's details, I imagine, and just the percentage. Now if you're interested in hearing a bit more about that, let me know, and I'll do a sort of like walkthrough video. But a really nice kind of touch, and I think they're the only one of these big platforms that offers something like this at the moment. There are other companies offering these kind of services, but not tied into one of these lending and interest platforms. And then back over to crypto.com. So we got a new syndicate event, and now it looks like these are going to be every 2 weeks going forward. So they used to be every 2 weeks, and then they moved them to a weekly event, and now it looks like they're moving back to a 2 weekly event. But Elrond eGold, so EGLD, this is the new Elrond eGold token, $500,000 US dollars allocation, and it doesn't start next week, it's the week after next. So 10 days, looks like they're going back to a 2 weekly a syndicate event rather than the weekly one. So a little bit disappointing if you're been participating on a weekly basis. And as always, the same rules and regulations apply. You have to be signed up on the exchange. You have to have a minimum of 5,000 CRO locked into staking in the exchange, and you have to have a 30-day volume. So that's when this starts. So in 10 days time, the previous 30 days, you have to have done a 5,000 trade volume to be eligible to participate in the syndicate events. And then something else that I got an email about, I think this was yesterday maybe, was this new, or a couple of days ago, was this new trading competition. So if you are trading on the exchange and you want to use their API, so this is basically just to promote their API usage on the exchange, they are doing this event. $101,000 worth of CRO will be distributed. So the first position will be 10,000, then ranks 2 to 10, 2,000, and 11 to 100, $800 each. So the top 100 users will get you know, substantial amount of CRO out of this. Now there are some conditions. You have to hold a minimum of 5,000 CRO staked on the exchange. You need to do 100,000 US dollars of transaction volume via the API. This is a trading API, and at least 1,000 transactions via the API during basically now and the end of October. So it started, if we scroll down to the bottom, bit further down, started on the 7th, and it will run till Friday the 31st of October at 7 AM UTC. So you need to go through these bits and pieces. You need to pass advanced KYC, few bits and steps to go through. But if you're interested in this, I will put a link to this page, and you can go in, and good luck to you. Hopefully you might win something through this trading competition. So that's it for this week. Thanks very much for watching as always. If you have questions or comments, let me know in the comments below. If you see any issues or mistakes in the spreadsheet, I do try and keep it as up to date as possible, but I do make mistakes, as missed this CRO update on the flexible term. So do let me know in the comments there, or just drop me an email at cryptodaveuk@gmail.com. The email is at the bottom of the sheet. As I said before, I'll put links to all these news stories in the description below. But I hope you're all keeping well. Fingers crossed I'll see you on the next video. If you give me a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. But until then, have a great day. Bye bye.